As I started getting ready for this recording, was thinking about how I could center myself and just because I'm on this 30-day challenge, and the 30-day challenge is about me taking the initiative to for 30 days just come on here and do a recording every single day. And so today it's been a little well, it's I mean today is Tuesday and tomorrow will actually be a week. So today is day 6 of this challenge, and I've been stressing out because last night I stayed up till 2:30, getting the biggest recording I've ever done, and that was my astrology reading, my astrology forecast. I hope you've watched it. But and then 3 days out of the week I have to drive my son into school. We were on spring break last week, and of course he returned to school today. So I wasn't prepared today because I've just kind of been out of it. So tonight, after coming home from his school, I got to spend some time with my daughter, and she did my hair. So anyway, my hair has been up for the past 4 videos, and I was just contemplating getting ready for this video, and I said, you know what, I need to just center myself, just get real quiet. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to share. I would like to talk in this video about what it is that helps me center myself and what gives me peace. And so I'm going to go over a couple of ideas with y'all, or I'm going to share a couple of things that I do. And I thought, you might benefit from it as well. And then, I'd love to hear from you what you do to help center yourself. So as I was getting ready, and I got a little anxious because I thought, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I could easily do an astrology reading, which is what I am really starting to get the practice of. Yesterday, I had my full blown on astrology report that I got ready for y'all, and it was amazing how I pulled that off because I personally have not done that. I've been wanting to do it, and today I was going to go ahead and follow up with. There's a bunch of a series that I want to create, but I'm not in that headspace because I am exhausted from staying up till 2:30 last night. And so I'm just kind of like, and then we're getting back into our schedule. But this week, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling that energy from the eclipse and the planetary aspects with our Venus in retrograde. And, if you watch that video, you understand what I'm talking about. But there is some intense energy happening right now. And it's building up for this last week of March. And like I said, I'm on this 30-day challenge, and I was not ready for today's video. But when I started thinking about it, I just looked to the side and I said, wow, just, be at peace. It's going to be okay. I'm just making a 10-minute video because that is the challenge that I'm putting myself through, because I'm growing through these things. This is something that I've been wanting to do for so long. For so long, I've been wanting to come on to YouTube and start sharing my messages. And I just wasn't ready. And as long as I thought I was, I kept on and on and on. And then I just finally got to that point where, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got to just come on here. And I was afraid back in November. I was so afraid. And I got that encouragement. And I got that encouragement by DoDash when I saw her video. I was literally sitting in the vehicle. I was waiting for my youngest child. We were at a store. We were running an errand or something. And then that video came on, and I thought, very interesting. And I think my daughter was in Brazil at the time visiting my son, my oldest, and my grandson. And I sent it to her and I said, Jade, you got to watch this. So anyway, this energy of me wanting to come out and just without, with the fear of, okay, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know, what I have to say. What do I have to offer? What do I have to give you? That I had to just break through, and I did it, and I've just been showing up week after week, with cringe videos, and finally some material, and finally some good stuff. Like I feel like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting in the practice, and I've been fine tuning, and still I'm not there yet. There's I don't have scripts. Um, I will admit, this week after 4 months, I've came up with a script for my first 30-second intro, because now, as I kind of know what I'm doing, I'm looking at my analytics, and Anyway, I wanted to just share right here. This gave me the peace to center myself, to get ready for this recording. We just got home. It's 10:30. It's what time is it? It's 10:25. And I said, what am I going to talk about on this video? I could easily do my astrology, but the astrology stuff and my numerology, that's just going to be so much. And I said, no, I need to just do my 10-minute video, keep it down, short and sweet. And what am I going to give you? So I just wanted to come on here as a reminder that I am doing this 30-day challenge. And if it is something that you're doing too, my hats go off to you, because this is a big challenge. And the Virgin Mary gave me peace tonight when I looked at her and I said, what am I going to talk about? And this is a piece of art that I got. I have it up on the screen, but I wanted to share with you how special this is. And I'm getting really emotional thinking about it. But, we either have Jesus, who died on the cross for us, and we have a special cross, which, I have several crosses everywhere. I also have the rosary. We have several rosaries, just all throughout. I was born and raised Catholic, but then I also was raised in other churches like the Methodist. I mean, as a child, I used to go to these churches, and my great grandmother taught my grandmother, and they taught my moms. My mother and my aunt, and we always just was always a part of church, no matter what. What it the bottom line here is, how do we center? How do we find peace? And you know, many of my friends that I have, I remember I asked that question once, and I remember getting a response on a social media post, and everybody said, "Oh, I just go and pray." And really, it's not so much about going and praying. To me, in the last, I want to say, wow, it's probably been about 18 years that I've been on a new path. My thing is, how do we center ourselves? Yes, prayer is good, and I mean, as you can see, I have, I was raised to, in the churches, and I mean, I love, I have my little spiritual, my little religious, not spiritual, but my religious, little figures, and um I have 'em, I have angels, and so what do you have? What helps bring you peace and calms you? Is it a person? Is it an animal? Is it a picture? And in this situation, I have her, and I like to keep her close to me, and I usually have her hung up, but for some reason I just moved my office, and I haven't found a good place for her, because I was going to move back to I moved my home, my little small office, back into my bedroom, but I keep her close, and I need to hang her back up, and I just haven't gotten to that spot. So I just keep her close to where I can easily see her. And, I find peace through the Virgin Mary. And then of course, I pray to Jesus. And then the one last thing that I want to share with y'all that helps center me is when I learned to meditate. Now, I'm not a very good meditator. The other thing I love to do is just go outside and, be next to the, earth, the trees, the wind, my chimes out on my porch. And mostly when I, get away from the ranch, I also get peace, when I get out on my walks, my nature walks. And there's two parks that we go to. We go to our park here in the neighborhood, well, in my community. And then we also go, out to Austin. And I took you out there this past Saturday when I went live, out on the town lake. I love to go there. The next place that I like to go is just to center out. And I learned this method years ago when I read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if you've read that book, but The Power of Now, I got, introduced to him through one of my favorite TV people, Oprah. And, but anyway, so Eckhart Tolle, if you read this book, you learn how to stop the thoughts. And that's what I took away from this book, is that when I'm just all stressed out, sometimes I just can't, and the way I center myself is just stop the thoughts. And what he says is, it's a form of meditation where you just learn to just tune out the worry, the stress, Okay, I'm going to think about the future, or I'm going to think about the past, or I'm going to think about whatever. And anyway, the power of now, it's about now. It's about getting into the moment and feeling that peace. And that's the message that I have for you today. And my 30-day challenge for day 6 is, how do we get center and handle all the anxiety and the stress of the world? And especially in today's times, with the way the planets are in the sky, and just turning on the news, you hear it. I mean, just turning on YouTube, I mean, my favorite news channels will show me, the news, and I'm like, no, I'm not looking at that right now. But I just wanted to let y'all know, I get centered when I try to stop the thoughts and I catch myself and then I breathe. I connect to nature, or I look at my favorite picture, the Virgin Mary. And on occasion, I do my prayers. How about you? What do you do? Is there someone special you pray to? Do you do prayers? Do you do meditation? Or do you just disconnect from everything and do yoga? What do you do? Share those in the comments. And YouTube seems to think you'll like one of my next videos. So be sure to click on the next video I'm not sure if it's on this side or this side. And if you haven't done it so already, please give me a like, share my video, or subscribe.